but Mason can on the other occasion take a short corner. He's lurking with intent.
Ziyech is going to take this one now. Rudiger, Zouma, Azpilicueta have all come forward from defence. Ziyech with the outswing, a poor ball easily headed away by Gineppo at the near post. It's come back to Kanté, out to Ziyech again. Closed down by Adams, comes in field to Mount, has got lots of space here, 25 yards out, it's going to have a go. Mason Mount rising over the crossbar, no problem for McCarthy.
Didn't quite have the time he thought to set himself. He's as the ball's come in, he's had the touch. In the end, Romeo's come out to him. I probably would have been better served to put that, but I'm not going to criticise him. He's had a brilliant second half, Mason. Just doesn't quite get the shot right.
McCarthy's in no rush to take this goal kick for Southampton. They're at Leeds on Tuesday. We go to Everton next weekend. They've dropped more points from winning positions than anybody else in the Premier League this season, the Saints, and that's going to be the case for them again today by the looks of things. Now down the line for Alonso.
He's now to put that ball down there. He thinks Callum's on the end of it, not Marcus Alonso. In the end, Bednarek does ever so well, but Chelsea got a throw in.
And Alonso chucked it to Mount. Now here's Rudiger just over halfway. Plays it to Zouma inside the centre circle as we're going to the final minute of regulation time in this game with the score at 1-1. Rudiger out left wing for Alonso. Alonso in field to Mount. Mount, oh, he's done brilliantly to get away from two. Plays across near Werner, but not close enough. Vestergaard got it away.
Brilliant from Mason Mount. Got brilliant control. And just takes it out of play, does he? Yes, he does. What a run from Mason. He's got two. But the ball's played, he's got two for him. Bednarek comes across, as does Gineppo. He takes the ball back, cuts it back, and then nutmegs Bednarek. And he gets to the byline with his left foot and just plays the ball across there. He's unlucky that no one has come in. And Timo really needs to get in front of his centre half there. Timo's rooted on the edge of the 6-yard box.
Now Chelsea's goal scorer today, Chelsea's best player today, and I would say by quite a wide margin, leading the race for Player of the Year too.
Yeah, without question, he was excellent. Something's happened now because it was a head injury. The referee stopped it straight away. Who's down? Can't quite see.
Substitute. I think I heard 3 minutes there, which would be a surprise. Teller and Kanté, by the way, it was, who banged heads, so there's going to be added time to the added time anyway here, whilst they check that Teller is okay to go on. Of course, we do have concussion subs in the Premier League now.
It's going to be okay. It was just a clash of heads. Referee's absolutely within his rights, and he believes it's the right thing to do. Chelsea in possession, Teller's off the field of play.
Restart with a drop ball which won't be contested, and Jorginho doesn't want to give it back. He's ended up giving it back because he overhit a pass by about 20 yards that goes straight behind. That
kind of sums up us today, really. Tuchel there just throwing his palms up in the air as if so, what was that? And I agree with him.
Well, this is the poorest performance that the team have put forth since he's taken charge. So it's all about the response now on Tuesday.
I agree with you. Haven't created anything, you know. The penalties. It didn't feel like we were going to create anything in open play. That's been the case.
Yellow card for Alex McCarthy for wasting time there. Was 3 minutes that was signalled, which seems surprising. But that Teller injury happened just at the start of stoppage time, so we'll see. Here's Kanté trying to get away from Romeo. He's managed to do that. And then Ziyech can't get past Salisu. Here's Redmond. Southampton maybe think they can win it late on. Ball played out left-hand side to Teller. Teller manages to get his crossover toward Adams, and it's turned behind for a corner by Zouma.
Ziyech giving the ball away again. He doesn't know this. It could have had a touch, but you're not to know in that situation. All hands on deck. It'd be cruel if we concede here.
Ward-Prowse again, the man, of course, to take the corner. Vestergaard one to keep an eye on, having hit the bar earlier in the half. Vestergaard's chasing this one down too. It's just over his head, though. Redmond will pick it up far side. No great rush, though. He's happy for the ball to stay where it is, near the corner flag. Even better would be if Kanté fouled him, but Redmond held on to it and worked it back to Romeu. Here's Redmond again. Southampton happy to play out time with the ball in their possession. Chelsea just haven't done enough to beat them today. Kanté's header. Ginetto right side. Kanté puts it out for a throw. Anthony Taylor has a look at his watch. Is he going to allow a substitution in added time? In added time here. He is. Well, this strikes me as somewhat pointless, but Dan Unlundulu is going to come on for Nathan Redmond. He has to go off from the nearest exit point. He's not happy about that. It was clearly intended to waste a bit of time, but it seems a bit needless to me. We're added time in added time. Unlundulu, well, he'll be pleased to get his appearance fee, I suppose. He's going to get a touch as well, is he? Bednarek threw that ball to him from the throw-in. Unlundulu trying to protect it in the corner flag, gives away a free kick. Well, let's add 30 seconds on for that sub and a minute for the Teller head injury. And maybe if Chelsea get this forward quickly, there might be time to make one last chance. But Mendy's got it at the moment. They're playing it out from the back and they need to lump it upfield. Azpilicueta eventually does that up towards Ziyech. He won the header, flicked it on toward Werner, but Vestergaard able to beat him to it. And James can't keep it in play. Surely that is going to be that. It'll be interesting to hear from Thomas Tuchel post-match, what he makes of this performance from his team.
Yeah, you're right. It's been the least convincing performance of his reign, and to be honest with you, a draw is a fair result. I can't argue with that at all.
Southampton stopped the rot. Chelsea did at least come from behind, having conceded to Minamino in the first half. Mounts penalty 9 minutes after the restart, levelling things up, but no further goals. Means that Chelsea look upon it as 2 dropped points here. Jason, we're in the rare position then of hoping that Tottenham win tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, a draw would be perhaps a more preferred choice, but yes, if Spurs were to take points or 3, then you don't see them closing that gap anytime soon. But from our point of view, maybe you could say that we were perhaps due one of these. It's frustrating from our point of view. Like you said, interesting to see what Thomas Tuchel has to say. I can't argue with the result. We didn't do enough to win it. They certainly didn't. So, no, draw a fair result.
On to the Champions League on Tuesday night then. We will, of course, have full commentary of Atletico Madrid versus Chelsea. 8 o'clock kick-off for that one. But disappointment on the south coast here this afternoon, where the final score at St Mary's Stadium was Southampton 1, Chelsea 1.
Welcome back to Matchday Live at Ensall Square on the South Coast. Chelsea 1, Southampton 1. Mason Mount won and converted a penalty in the second half to equal out Minamino's first half goal. Abby, I mean, let's start with a massive positive, which is Mason Mount yet again stepping up to the plate, leading by example, and winning and scoring the penalty.
Yeah, shock. No, Mason doing exactly what he does best, putting the work in. And leading by example. I mean, he was really bringing the team up the pitch, wasn't he? And I think he was our star player really in the second half.
Yeah, completely agree. Dan, it was, I suppose, a frustrating afternoon because Southampton, the foot defended very well, but I'm imagining, well, I mean, you don't need to be a body language expert to see that Thomas Tuchel was frustrated with how today went and how animated he was on a touchline. But, you know, you want to see that from your manager. You want to see that coming away to a team that the expectation has changed. You want to get 3 points there today, and that he'll be feeling it's a slightly missed opportunity this afternoon.
Yeah, it definitely feels like 2 points dropped rather than a point gained. To be fair, I'm not sure we deserved 3 points. We had the lion's share of the play, but we weren't creating as much as we could. We were getting to a certain point, and it seemed that there was a bit of an invisible ceiling that we couldn't seem to get past. So Mason Mount had a good game. There were a couple of good performances, but I think what we're screaming out for is, in a game like this, sometimes you need a killer, a destructive number 9 who says, I don't care whether, we're playing beautiful football. Almost like Diego Costa was in his heyday, where it could be as flat as anything in the game and he'll pull something out of the bag. At the moment, it almost seems like we really have to play well to score goals. And I think we need someone that can almost create something for themselves out of nothing.
Completely agree, mate. Completely agree. Jay, I suppose that'll be the frustration is we've not played poorly in terms, we've kept the ball, we've had a lot of the ball, but it seems to be a fairly sort of we've seen this before where teams will come and set up deep and look to frustrate and look to not give us enough space to sort of get in behind or create much. And then we struggle to break them down. I suppose Southampton will go away very pleased with the job they've done today because they have limited us to fairly little.
I thought we were poor, especially second half. I thought Southampton were better than us, really. I mean, we scored the goal. We waited for us to kick on. It never came. I thought that they were comfortable. I couldn't see us. I mean, in open play, what did McCarthy have to do? I don't remember in open play him having to make a save that was legitimately on target, that was legitimately onside. Yeah, I thought we were poor second half. That was as bad as we played under Tuchel. They were quite comfortable. I thought second half they played hard at the pitch. There was a bit of urgency about the way they closed us down. We kept giving the ball away, and even in positions where we were largely. We had time and space. Kovacic was guilty as anyone. Mason was our best player, but that wasn't difficult. I thought, other than that, I don't remember. I can't think of anyone that played well. Anyone that can say, and it happens. It happens. You can't play well every game. But I look back to the second half against Newcastle. First half we were excellent. Second half, I thought we were really disappointing, and we've been really disappointing today. So that's the last 1.5 games that I've watched. Pretty much been the same.
I think it's a fair comment, Abby, in saying that perhaps we've not hit the heights that we have come to expect. But also on the flip side, the one thing you would say in a difference to potentially a couple of months ago, maybe we don't get the equaliser. A couple of months ago, maybe we don't get the penalty. Maybe we don't get a point from it. So I think that's one thing that we look at today is we haven't perhaps played at our best. It's certainly not going to be a performance that we look back on sort of and set the standard. But at the same time, we have come away with a point.
Yeah, we've come away with a point, and as you say, we got the equaliser. I think that's the thing. We started the second half like, let's get this, let's settle this, let's win it. And obviously we didn't go on to win it, but at least we took a point away. I'm just wondering if everyone's mind really is just on the Champions League game, and everyone was just maybe a little bit distracted. And I think just sometimes you can't always have your best performance, but at least we took away a point. I would have been so disappointed with the loss today.
Dan, the Callum Hudson-Odoi situation is a strange one. Again, we don't know the ins and outs at the moment. It might have been a knock, it might have been an injury, it might have been something. But he looked like he had a really good impact when he came on at half time, and obviously after sort of just over 20 minutes, he decided Thomas Tuchel decided to make the change again in terms of. I suppose that's that's it, isn't it? And that is the facts that we know. That we don't know anything more upon that. But one thing that we do say about Callum is he comes back. And if it is another injury, if it is something like that, then he's shown in the past he can come back from little setbacks.
Yeah, it didn't look like an injury. It looked like Callum was quite disappointed to be being pulled off, but it happened. I feel like Tuchel brought him on to make a difference. He started to make a difference, and then the game started to go a bit flat again. You look at Ziyech. I'm not sure how effective Callum is in that double 10 role, so to speak. I actually thought we'd see them both on the same pitch at the same time. I thought we'd see Callum at wing back and Ziyech playing ahead of him. But Tuchel obviously saw something that he thought needed change and changed it. I don't think it's much of a reflection on Callum's performance. He only had 22 minutes on the pitch, so I don't think it's that. I think it was just a system thing.
Jay, I suppose that's the thing you look at, because again, we don't know the ins and outs, but one thing that it does say is that if there is a difficult decision to make, the manager's not afraid of doing so, and it does sometimes it takes quite a strong manager and quite a strong personality to be able to say, okay, I've made a change, it's not working the way I want it to, or perhaps it needs a change in personnel with whatever goes on, and he's got the sort of the foresight to make that change, rather than some managers who perhaps see it as a little bit of a no-go situation.
Absolutely right. Look, the game had changed. He came on at 1-0. He came off at 1-1. Now, he had moments. He kind of couldn't quite get into the game. I felt, Dan made a great point a minute ago about a centre forward. I felt we lacked a real focal point to our attack. I think their three centre halves, had a pretty comfortable afternoon's work. Giroud would have been the change I would have made. I felt that we needed something up top, a focal point. We needed a little bit more strength, someone to hold that ball up. But it never really, once you make those subs and you make the decision you're going to go a different way, then Giroud's obviously not the option. Look, I feel for Callum, but that decision had to be made. And there can be no sentiment. You can't think to yourself, well, I've brought him on, but if it's the best thing to do for the team and get the result now is take him off, why shouldn't you? It's tough. But it's we know clearly Tuchel has a lot of affection for the way that Callum plays, because you can see that the way he's played him, the way he's used him, the way his body language with him after games. That's just one of these things. Professional sport at the highest level, no sentiment, have to make tough decisions.
Completely right, mate. Well said. It's a big week, obviously, Abby. Chelsea have got now Atletico Madrid on Tuesday, and then we finished the week against Manchester United. So it's two big games coming up, and I suppose that that you take a lot from today. One being that Tammy potentially isn't fit, because he's come off again with the injury, and you don't want to see him rush back. But that potentially does mean that Olivier Giroud has got an opportunity to start, because, like Jason's pointed out, if today was crying out for a forward, and you've got one of the best in the world at holding the ball up and bringing players in. So it's going to be an interesting week, and one that we'll learn quite a lot from. Yeah,
it's a big week, and probably the most pressure that Tuchel's going to have felt so far. A huge week, and from the last kind of game and a half, as Jason mentioned, we've maybe not really been at our best. So we absolutely have to bring our A game to really stay up in the top four, and hopefully keep things rolling in the Champions League as well.
Completely. And Dan, obviously after Man United, because the fixture changes that happened yesterday, you'll be able to see them on the fifth stand at the latest fixture movements for March. But it means we play Man United then Liverpool, so it's now really a baptism of fire, I suppose, but also an opportunity to really make ground up on your immediate competition, as it were.
Yeah. We're into this is the acid test now. We've got 3 tough games pretty much in a row. I feel like maybe we had one eye on those fixtures, which is why we made 4 changes today, and why there was a change of personnel. Maybe perhaps we're saving people for midweek, but look, the next game is the most important one. It's always the case in football. So we have to treat this Atletico game very seriously, get that out of the way, and then we can look at what the United game looks like. So I think we have to, of course, keep one eye on the future, but almost just keep half an eye on the future. The next game is very important, and it will propel us hopefully into some good forward momentum.
Jay, Atletico Tuesday, of course, they don't get much tougher than that in European football. In fairness, today it's going to be a real test. But I suppose when we're still learning and we've got a very difficult week ahead, the next 3 or 4 games, like Dan's pointed out, are all very, very important and very difficult. So now's the importance that if you get a win on Tuesday night, you take a huge amount of confidence into the next game and the next game and the next game, etc., don't you?
Yeah, I mean, because this is over 2 legs, you know, an away goal is always valued. 0-0's not a bad result, but, you know, might suit them more to come here and then look for that away goal, in which case we'll need 2, and they've got us right where they want us. It's going to be a tough game, you know. We said before, it's the toughest of all the fixtures I looked at. You know, when you think you top the group, you still get Atletico Madrid. What more have you got to do? And, you know, this is the season that games come thick and fast more than any other time. And, you know, it's a disappointment today because, you know, I felt that we really had to put pressure on the teams above us. Now, the teams below us can overtake us and put pressure back on us. So there's still a lot of football to be played, a lot of big games coming up. But I think it's very difficult to look too far beyond this season because, you know, we got United next Sunday. How can you look beyond Atleti right now? But I'm thinking what we're going to do against United, and then we've got more games coming after that. It's just one of those seasons. But, it's frustrating performance. So I'm just watching Thomas Tuchel's press conference now, and, you know, he's a bit frustrated.
Well, we'll definitely see and hear more from the boss a little bit later on, because coming up on the 5th stand, you can see highlights of today's match and all the post-match interview. Lee Parker obviously down at St Mary's for us, so he'll grab the boss for a little chat in a while. A busy week ahead for the Blues, kicking off on Monday afternoon. Thomas Tuchel will be speaking to the press ahead of our Champions League last 16 clash with Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid. It's going to be a big evening, so make sure you join us on Tuesday from 6:50, where we'll be joined on Matchday Live by the brilliant Mark Schwarzer. Looking forward to that one. We've also got a big PL2 fixture on Friday evening from 7 p.m. We take on Leicester City. So, hard-earned point away at Southampton to start the weekend. Still very much in touching distance in second place of the Premier League, and a very big week ahead. Atletico Madrid and Manchester United as well. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you for watching.